Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the All Systems Go podcast. I'm your host, Chris L. Davis, and we interview startup founders and digital marketers to discuss software and strategies that you can use to automate or build automated marketing and sales systems. Today, I have the pleasure of having Matthias Hombauer. So, sorry, Matthias. And he's a qualified, listen to this, everybody. Listen to this. He's a qualified molecular biologist that became a photographer of the most famous rock star and founded one of the largest online concert photographer communities in the world. And he is currently a successful international dream developer. You'll learn what this means in a minute, who helps people live their passion in order to live a fulfilling life. And I have to say this, everyone, Matthias is one of the very first people that invested in my program in its inception, in its baby stages. So to see this come full circle, to see the success that you've had, Matthias, and to be able to sit down and detail it, we're going to be talking about how to shift successfully in the marketplace. So, how do I shift successfully with systems? Matthias, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Chris, for this lovely introduction. I'm really feeling warmth in my heart to be there. Really, it's really such an honor and such a pleasure. As we talked before, it has been a couple of years that we last spoke, and so
Yes.
it's lovely to be here and can't wait to get started.
Yeah, I have to say, um, it is. It's a heart tugger
Yeah,
for anyone that sets out to really make a difference in other people's lives. When you and I crossed paths, I had no idea, no real clear vision of exactly what will become out of what was then the mentorship program.
me
And it's
neither, Chris.
right. I just had this skill set, Matthias. I knew how to build systems, and I had seen so many businesses fail, and I was just like, I want to help. How can I help? How can I serve? How can I duplicate myself, or my acumen at the time? So for you to say, "Hey, yes, I want to come on," and I have to say this: you put everything into practice. You are like the model student for a couple reasons. One, you didn't just sit and be like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." Right? You put it into play. And then two, your learning didn't stop with me. You still invested in other programs. I remember you were in, I think, Derek Halprin's program, learning how to do copy. Like
Right.
you were a student of the craft, man. So if there's anybody that deserves success, it's you. So I'm glad you're here to talk to us about it. So tell us a little bit. I know the journey, man. I know the journey, but I want you to piece it together for the people. They're like, did you
Yeah.
say molecular biologist that founded a rock star community? Just, walk us through that process there,
Yeah,
Matthias.
yeah, definitely I will. So, yeah, it's a crazy story. It has been a crazy ride for the last like 15 years. Everything started out as a PhD student in molecular biology in Vienna, and during my PhD thesis, I thought, that's not really where my heart lies. I love the studies, but
Mm.
I really don't see myself in a research environment. They were frustrating projects. It takes you 4 to 6 years without any results. And so I thought, I need to do something else. And then somehow what came up was photography was a passion of mine, or I started photography with 28. And then there was music, which I was always like interested in. And
Mm.
so I thought, yeah, why not becoming a concert photographer, getting my two passions together, photography and music. And yeah, and I started out as a concert photographer. Um, it turned out great. After a couple of years, I was like on an international level. I was shooting all these bands, all these idols of my youth. So I really loved it. And then something happened on the peak of this whole rock star photography thing, I would say. um, we got my first daughter, Mia. She's
Mm,
already 5.5 years old now, and at this time I was reading Tim Ferriss' 4 Hour Work Week. A friend
yes.
of mine gave it to me, and I said, maybe this is something that I should explore more of. Like, I'm a dad now. I don't want to tour with all these bands, the world. I want to be at home with my daughter and want to see her grow up, and I want to be a stay-at-home dad. And so I thought, what can I do? And so there was this spark lighting up in my side in myself. Okay, let's do an online business. And but I didn't have any clue at all. So I didn't know how to develop a homepage. I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't have no idea at all from everything. I have to say, from marketing perspective, whatever it was. And so what I did is I started a blog, a personal blog called How to Become a Rockstar Photographer.com. It's still online. And I wrote blog articles. And what came out is that a lot of people, most likely from the US, I'm based in Vienna, in Austria, in Europe, but most likely from the US, England, and Australia, really
Mhm.
got into it, and they commented. And I was like perplexed, like, oh, what's going on? I'm sitting here in Vienna in my little room, I'm writing something, and I can build a community from there. And this was just the start. And then I wrote an ebook, and I did a video course. And at this time, I guess it was like getting in touch with you when you were back in at Active Campaign, because I was just wanting to build a community, and I was trying. Mailchimp, and then I transferred to Aweber, and then I came to Active Campaign, and
Yeah.
then I found
Yep.
you, and it was like, hey, how can I progress? How can I automate all these things? And yeah, it was just awesome to be one of your first students.
Yeah, it was really unique because it was what you were doing just inherently was niched. The work itself. So for you to come in and build the systems to support the niched market, you didn't even have to do a lot of the heavy lifting that we see in a more competitive market. So for instance, I'm in marketing, so people, my leads, it's not, I'm not their first landing page.
Mhm.
They've gone to a landing page. They've gone through a drip sequence, and they've probably seen a countdown timer that expired, and then they came back the next day and the offer was still there.
Right.
So they were
I played with these strategies as well. But what I,
right.
I want to say is, the cool thing about this niche is concert photography is kind of popular. There are a lot of people doing it, but
Mhm.
still, and that's the cool thing, no one is writing about it still 10
Yeah.
years later, right? And when I started out, there were like two guys in the US who were having blogs about concert photography. So what I figured out is, if I term it concert photography and rockstar photography, I can really get high ranking on Google. And so I started with the
Mm.
blogs, and it turned out, if you type in concert photography of concert photography settings, I'm always most likely under the top 3 of the Google search. And so it's all organic. And
Yes.
like, in the whole 10 years I did this business, I have never paid for ads, because everyone found me through
Yeah.
Google, which is just awesome. And this is,
Yeah.
I think, the power of having a niche. Because if I would go broader and say, yeah, it's general photography, I mean, there are hundred thousands of pages talking about photography. You won't have
Mhm.
any chance to be organic on Google or be
Yeah,
found.
and I'll say this too. I remember when you were getting started, we were using, there was Instagram before it is definitely not the Instagram that we know today.
Yeah,
It
right.
this is night and day. People probably can't, I mean, it's 5 years. There's
Yeah,
these platforms change monthly, so five
yeah,
years. I mean, it didn't have the adoption rate, the usage. There weren't a lot of users on there, but the nature of what you were doing was so visual. It's concert photography. And you
mhm.
were teaching other photographers how to go to concerts and take that, and your sticker. I remember your sticker
Yeah,
becoming like
with
a
the
thing.
logo, with the camera.
Everybody wanted the sticker, man.
Uh,
And I know that you mentioned that the market when COVID hit kind of
yeah,
flatlined, right?
yeah.
Talk about that that unanticipated threat that nobody could have seen coming, right? You've got
Yeah.
all of this momentum, the system to support it. They're going through your course, automated. You're getting money this way, and then all of a sudden COVID hits, and there's no concerts to take photography at.
Yeah, I mean, this was wild. So I haven't thought about it in the beginning when this whole
Mhm,
pandemic started, because I thought, I have an online course. People will buy my courses. But then I realized, who is going to buy a concert photography course when there are no concerts, right? And so
mhm.
this hit me like a rock on my head, and it's like, shit, something is not right here. I need to do something else. Um, but I saw it really as an opportunity, Chris. I was in this business for 10 years, and as a photographer, I was working for Instagram in France. I was flying to Saudi Arabia to shooting the biggest music festivals. I had
Mhm, mhm.
a a portrait shooting with Usher in the desert in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I can't ask for anything else, right?
Yeah.
And then this, and then March 2020, like the pandemic hit, and here in Europe, it even was worse with concerts. So there are still no concerts, or they're starting right now, but it's like 2 years later, right? And
Mm.
so I have two kids, and it's like I can't afford to do nothing, and that's also not my nature. So I figured out I need to do something else.
Yep. Yep. And so this is where we talk about the power of systems, everyone. And I can get on my soapbox. You all know how I feel about systems. And I can demonstrate, run master classes, webinars, all of that. But sometimes it just sounds better straight from the horse's mouth. Right? Straight from the individual that actually went through it. So this is important, Matthias, because it's not that the system was broke. You had
Mhm.
you had an automated system, and it's just a shift took place that it's temporarily ineffective with respect to how it's been operating, right?
Exactly, and you know what? It's working again. I just told you before, like I just
Yeah.
got a sale again, like because of my course, because concert photography is taking on again, especially in the US, right? Everything is back to normal, kind of, and so people
Yeah.
are getting interested in, and the systems are still there. My active campaign list is there, the the automations are there, everything is there, and so that's really
Yeah.
cool that it's
I
still
love
working.
it. And this is important, everybody, because one, the system, you building that system out, uh it allowed you to have the lifestyle that you truly desired. You wanted to be home. You wanted to be home with your kids. You wanted to be the one that they saw every day throughout the day. So it allowed you to do that. But then when the market took their hit, you were in a place where you could then start to see, okay, what's next, right?
Mhm.
And I want to highlight that because had you not experienced success in the beginning, because I see this often, Matthias, if you haven't experienced success in with your initial system, you're not as confident in making a shift.
True.
You're probably thinking, let me go back and be a biologist. I hated it, but this thing didn't work. But you didn't have that. You had a successful system. So there's some confidence now. You're just like, okay, I've done this. I just need to figure out the next market to do it in again. So tell us about this shift that you took, and how did dream development come about,
Yeah.
birthed out of this COVID?
Yeah. Yeah. So as I said, March 2020, everything went down, so to speak, in the music industry. And I was thinking to myself, what's the next step? Where do I see myself like in 10 years? Do I want to be 50 and shoot still concerts from a small pit?
Mm,
Not for me anymore. And so I figured out what I'm really passionate about, and where I get a lot of energy from is when I help people, right? And I help them to become better concert photographer. But how can I help them on a bigger scale? And so I thought back to all these projects I did, like PhD in molecular biology, starting a photography business, online business. So they are all like passion projects. So they
mm,
were literally like my dreams. In this moment of time, I had the dream I want to build an online business, and I did it. And
yeah.
so I thought, hey, what about helping people to live their dreams?
Mm,
And especially in these challenging times right now, there are so many people who are starting to think, is this really the life that I want to have? And I guess COVID was kind of skyrocketed the whole process, because once you were in lockdown, a lot of people had the time to think about their life
Yep.
and figure out, shit, I'm now 20 years later in a place where I didn't want to go, but what drove me there, and is this really where I want to be? And so I figured out maybe this is a good way. And so I'm calling it dream development, and basically helping people, helping CEOs, founders, and everyone who wants to live their full potential, who find a way how life can be different from where they are right now if they're unsatisfied. And
Yeah.
that's the new project.
This is great because I want to talk about your approach to it. I just love this. Don't worry, everybody. You won't miss anything. I'll make sure every detail that I need you to understand, you capture. Um, Talk to us a bit about how you're launching this now. And I say this because of this, Matthias. Um, you've got this skill now. You know how to
Mhm.
build these automated systems. You know how to build an online business. it I've seen a lot of people just go and say, "Hey, here's a launch. I'm starting a new group coaching program. Everybody come in, $1,000 each, and I'm trying to get 50 people in, whatever, right?" You're
Sounds easy, but it isn't, as we know.
there it is. That's the key, right? Your experience in building a successful online business now helps you discern more
Mm.
accurately. I get it sounds good. And I understand if it worked just like that, it would be great. It just doesn't happen like that.
No, it
So
doesn't.
so you've got an informed approach. What's the approach that you're taking now to develop dream development?
Yeah. So right now I'm taking really a personal approach. So I'm reaching
Yep.
out to people from my kind of network, and people I had already a touch point or two, that they know me, because the stream development or deep coaching is like a really personal thing. And the most important thing, I guess, also, if you doesn't matter what business you have, you need you need clients that trust you. And the key point for me is to build this trust with my clients. And I can do this the best way, I figured out, when I really go deep with them, when I do this one-on-one coachings.
Yep.
And so this is where I'm right now, but I'm also planning my first group coaching in so next week. And so this will be the first step to get a system in place. And if I know how it's working, this group coaching thing, then there will be definitely a sales page. There will be countdown timers. There will be, whatever it is, or whatever it takes. But that's my approach. But as you said, Chris, the knowledge is there, and it's like I can just implement it, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and that's it's hard to communicate that, right? And I'm glad you're here talking about it because it's something that you'll always take with you. You'll never forget it. You can't unlearn it once you've seen it and once you know. And for some people, I'll be honest with you, Matthias. For some people, I've had quite a few students since you, and some of them need that slap in the face kind of wake up call. Like,
Mhm.
listen, I get it. You want a sales funnel. You want to be marketing online. Look at what it takes. Look at how you segment a list. Look at how you determine what email goes out when, how you link to a page, what it takes to build out a sales page, payment processor, all of the technology, all synced working together. Anybody that knows what it takes to do that, you're not just going to see them building all of these businesses. It's just like, oh, here's online business over here, online over here, online over here. It doesn't work like that. But the flip side is when you have that skill set, Matthias, you're not afraid. You're not
Yeah,
afraid to
yeah.
take that personalized, slow approach in the beginning because now you know exactly when is going to be the time. You'll know the indicators of,
Mm.
like you mentioned, when you need a sales page, when
Yeah.
you need to start to expand and scale this thing.
Mm. And I truly believe that you need to do the hard work behind it. As you said, it's like I had so many failures. As you said, it's like, yeah, let's do group coaching or sell a course, and it's like, $400, and I will have 100 in there, and let's send out the email, and no one is buying. It's like, what's going on there, and you're like every
Yeah,
minute on your email. Okay, why is not no one is coming?
yeah,
Is the say is like the system broken? Is PayPal not working? No, there is nothing, right? And it's really like a trial and error, and I think you really have to figure out, and probably it's really on an individual basis based on the industry you are, right?
yeah,
Photography industry might be different than others are, and so you need to experiment and have this long breath and this persistency to go there. And I think
yeah,
there, at least for me, it was not an overnight success, and
yeah.
I don't believe in overnight successes anyhow. But you need to put in the work and just be there long enough to figure out how it's working
Yeah,
for
and
yourself.
when I look at your story here, the what role did the system play, right? The system in place supported your shift, right? Without the system, you can't make the shift. And now that same system is now supplemental to the shift, right? Like you said, hey, just today, I got a sale from a course that I created this thing back before COVID, back when
It's like
people were still going out.
2017 maybe, and it's
Yeah,
still valid. It's still valid.
the
The
content's still good,
content
and
is still
guess
good.
what? It's not like the technology is tired, and it's like, "Well, look, you've been using me for 5 years. I think I'm gonna clock out." It's
Right.
it's
Good
still
for us.
firing. Good for us, right?
Exactly, exactly.
And it just speaks to some of the intangibles. I know a lot of people when they approach things, and rightly so. I was like this. You want to make the money, man. You want to learn how to automate to make the money, and you want to get off your job, or you want a better living, whatever the case may be. And uh, it could be short-sighted because the money should always be a byproduct of the process that you went through and the things that you learned that allowed you to create value in the marketplace. And that's been, I have to say, that's probably one of my biggest shifts is that I no longer lead with promising you'll make 6x, 10x. You could. However, what you're going to learn, you can implement time and time and time again, and it will work every single time if you follow the steps. Now, when you know how to do that, and then you have a market that value is just waiting to be added to, help, we need value. Now you have a
Mhm.
means of doing it. And because you
Mhm.
did it the right way, money becomes the byproduct of the system that you put in place from your commitment to growth through investing and learning how to do it the right way.
Exactly. And it was such a blessing that I met you, because for me it was also like, okay, this guy is in Chicago. I don't know about him, but he's preaching he has the automation system, right? I need him, and I can remember we had this phone call, and then it's like,
Yep.
hey, yeah, should I do it? But for
Yep.
me, it was like, in the end, it was the best decision I've ever taken, because yeah, maybe I could have figured it out by myself, but it would have taken a long time. And I can remember I had so many questions, and
Yeah.
Chris, how is it, and how can I sell on WordPress? And I don't know, and I'm not a developer, and you helped so much, and yeah, it
That
was.
hey,
Thank you
that's
so
really
much. Thank you
good.
so much for, yeah, for making this shift in my life, or like
Man.
appearing in my life like an automation angel, I would say.
Hey. The automation ain't I'll take it. I'll take that,
Yeah,
Matthias.
take it.
I have to say, man, you're bringing back the memories, and I was proud of you before, but man, I've got an refound pride in you because I do remember WordPress being overwhelming, but I
Yeah,
also remember when you had Thrive themes hooked up to Thrive Cart, adding members via tags, like you
yeah,
made it, and you pieced it together again. You're a consistent student.
yeah.
You just kept learning, Matthias. You just kept chomping at it. And again, it wasn't overnight. But I remember when you emailed me, I think it was at the 12-month mark, and you were like, it's working. Oh
Yeah,
my God. You had a launch
yeah.
and you had made so much
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah. I
launch.
had this first launch, and I mean, this was just mind blowing. I think I made like 14,000 with this launch of the
Yes.
course, and was like, shit, it's working. What's going on here, right? I mean, yeah, making money is hard work, maybe, but maybe there are different ways to do it. And
Yes.
as you said, it's like it really freed me up. Like I could do different things. I also started a podcast where I
Mhm.
interviewed the 100 best music photographers, and I didn't have to think about the system at all. You know, I had the landing pages, I had the sale
Yeah.
pages, everything, the email sequences, everything was running automatically. And
Mm.
then the people just, as I said, came organically through Google because they were searching concert photography.
Yep.
So it was like a breathe.
Yeah, it's something else, and I would say this, Matthias, the beautiful thing about automation is it keeps paying you back. I think that there will be, and who knows if it's a year from now and 2 years from now, there's gonna be a resurgence. You know, people are gonna be going to these concerts,
Sure.
and all of a sudden, people from 5 years ago that didn't know you existed, well, I should say people from now that didn't know you existed from 5 years ago, concert photography, and somehow, right? You'll be up in people's feeds and in front of
Yeah.
them, and then breathe new life, you know?
Yeah, and the cool thing is what I also started, just as a side note, because you were mentioning Instagram. So I thought maybe it's a cool idea to have like my own hashtag, right? And the project is called how to become a rockstarphotographer.com, which is a huge URL. So I
Mhm,
thought, that's too long. But what about like HTBRAP, like HT barb? And I
mhm.
thought, okay, this will never work. And now I just checked, it has like over 500,000 photos tagged with this weird hashtag where every marketer will slap you in the face and say, what's this shit? You know,
Yep,
what you're
right,
doing here.
right.
No one can remember what it is. But that's the beauty of communities. Like,
Yeah,
everyone is like involved in it. And it's not only concert photographers, you have these communities out there in different industries. And I think the key why it's working or why it worked is really like because it's this niche market, and these people are more passionate. If you are like in a niche market, like your followers will be more passionate because they feel more aligned with each other, or like a connection, than having
yeah,
someone photography. Yeah, okay.
yep, absolutely. I remember that. HTM Barb, I think it was how to
HT Barb, how
HTB
to
Barb.
become a rockstar
Yep,
photographer. HT Barb.
HTB Barb, HT Barb. And it was hard to remember it, but again, technology, once they get that sticker, man,
Yeah,
once you get the sticker and you took a picture with the sticker, it's like, "Oh, this hashtag, this hashtag." Man, it was great. So tell us, but before you go, tell us about dream development a
hmm?
little more. Tell
Yeah,
tell
sure.
us about the passion behind that,
Yeah,
and who's a good fit for something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Everyone, you know, from the niche to everyone. No,
Mhm.
just kidding. So, what I have seen right now is, I have clients from all different age spectrums and industries. So this can be CEOs, this can be founders, this can be creatives. I worked with someone who is writing on his book, and I worked with someone who is 20 years in his job, and he just wants to change, but he doesn't know what exactly it is. So I would
Mm,
say in general, everyone who is curious about him or herself to learn more about, like, is this really me? Is this really
mm,
my fulfilled life that I can have, or do I have other dreams that I'm uh yeah, something is holding me back to live it, I would say. So it's more
mhm,
like, if you're curious by exploring who you really are, that's a great way. And I'm also coaching a lot of leaders from startups with, who have visions about a topic that might not be even in the mainstream.
yeah,
But these people are really like the driving force about our future, and I love to help them just to see their vision more clearly and believe in them. And what I found out in general, the reason why we are stuck or not going where we want to be, it's all about because we block ourselves,
mm,
because of for different reasons. But as a coach, I'm most likely here as a mirror, and just seeing things from the outside, And most likely, once we are inside and creating our problems, it's really hard to get out of our head and finding solutions. So it's more like, yeah, if you have a dream and you are not living it, but you want to, maybe there's something I can do,
Yeah,
or a coach in general can do.
yep.
So for me, coaching was always like, uh, I don't know. I mean, they're a sports coach, but I don't understand what it is. And since I have my own coach and I started the whole process, and I did a certification, I'm now a professional coach. And my whole life shifted because, I got back to my emotional side, which was just of cut off because I was always rational.
Mm,
And it's like, yeah, I'm seeing the world completely different. And the important thing for me is to be authentic and giving to people that I experience by myself. And
yep.
this is the same with the automation thing. I won't be here and say, yeah, Chris is cool, but it didn't work for me. It's like it worked for me, and so therefore it's authentic, and therefore I'm real, and that's the most important thing for me in my life, to be real and share the things that I experience for myself.
Yeah, I think what's beautiful about everything that you just described is you can hear the passion, right? And you can
Hopefully
tell
so.
you can tell it's coming from a genuine place. And I think what people should take from this is the first business, the first system, your first go round may not be the one. It may not be where you stop, and that's okay. I think a lot of times we too quickly label something as good or bad, done or undone, or you get what I'm saying. We put that period at the end of the sentence too fast. It's like, oh, comma, not period, comma. There's still
Mhm.
more to come. So I see you as someone who's achieved success but has not stopped the journey, has not
Right.
stopped seeking, not just making a difference in others, in your life, but you're now looking at, okay, I've done a great thing for me. I've
Mhm.
experienced a different quality of life now.
Right.
How can I help others do the same thing? And
That's it.
these are, again, Matthias, these are some of the intangibles. What sales page are you going to see that says, hey, learn automation and impact other people's dreams?
Mhm.
Right? It's often not correlated. You
Right.
can't see that. It's not directly correlated like that. So it's usually a byproduct, and byproducts
Mhm.
aren't necessarily sexy products. But
Right.
when you see it take place the way that it has in your life, and I've seen it so many other times, I'm a byproduct of my own, product.
Mhm.
I get to impact people's lives in ways that I would never imagine or could ever measure. It's just really refreshing, man. It is. It's
Thank you.
really refreshing to see it, and I want nothing but success in dream development, because the success in how to be a photographer, rock star photographer, is coming back,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's just on a timer at some point,
Right.
like in the automations and active campaign, right? Wait until. It's just waiting until.
Wait until the concerts are back. Blink.
Right? And then that'll turn back on. So it's a wonderful thing. And here we haven't mentioned it, but Matthias, you're setting quite the model for your kids. You'll
Yeah, that's
never
my
know,
intention.
right?
That's my intention.
You'll never know
And
the impact. You don't
mhm.
know what they're picking up. You
Right.
don't know if your daughter is looking at you on the computer and she's, that's what I want to do. My daughter used to have a play computer and type right along with me. We just never know, man. But the powerful thing is you're there. You're there
Exactly.
every day. She can not just witness the work, I should say, not just she, they can witness the work that you're doing, but
Mhm.
also experience you present in their life. Listen, man, we can start getting emotional and tugging on hearts. A tear might drop. you know,
Yeah,
but
but it's so true what you're saying. It's like, I have so many friends who are not able to be at home with the kids,
yeah,
or be a it's not a good or bad thing, but if you're in a management position and you're just working 70, 80 hours a week, uh, you won't spend a lot of time with the kids. And being it bad or good, it's everyone needs to find their own way.
right.
But as you said, I also I think I created my life in this way, that for me it's important to be at home, to be with the kids. I also found a lifestyle that I'm working only, in the mornings till lunchtime, and then I'm there for the kids. And
Yeah.
this works great. So 4 hours work week, not really, but kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's your version, right? It's a Matthias version. And it's gonna have we'll never know the positive implications and impacts that it has on our
Mm,
kids, thankfully.
yeah.
Right? Like, I'm thankful that I won't know where they would have been had I not been home or had I
Mm,
not modeled this. I am I am so grateful for that.
right.
And you should be as well. As I don't know, man, am I getting choked? I can't tell if I'm getting choked up or not.
Chris is
But
getting emotional. So
right,
hopefully that's the most emotional podcast episode you did so far. This
right.
would be this would be great.
Oh man, you got me. Matthias, just right there in the heart. You just I couldn't hold back. But no, I am so proud of your success, man. And
Thank you, man.
again, nothing but the best with the next venture. Speaking of which, if people want to find out more, I want you to do too. If people want to find out, if they want to experience for themselves your first business, where should they go? And then second, for people who have heard about this dream development venture that you've got going, where can they go to find out about that?
Yeah. So I think the best way, if you want to see how the system is working, is go to howtobecomearockstarphotographer.com, because everything is still there. The homepage, you can sign up. You will see all these emails and sending out. So if you want to mimic the system or see how it's working. And for the dream development, the best way is to go to matthiashombauer.com. That's my new homepage, and you will find everything there. And you
Great,
can always reach out to me. You will find me also on LinkedIn. You will find me
great.
in the
Yes, yes,
internet.
great. Oh, Matthias, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Great to reconnect, man. We were talking before here, and it was like, Matthias, it's been years, but it feels like weeks.
Yeah.
That's just how fast things have been moving, and everything is gone. So great to reconnect with you. Thank you for coming on to the podcast. I know our listeners enjoyed it and learned so much from someone like yourself. And I am eternally grateful, man, to be in a position to be able to mentor you. And then as someone who can interview and just be a cheerleader, to the
Yeah.
success that you've achieved, man. So good
Yeah.
job.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. Sorry. Now I'm getting
Yes.
emotional.
Look.
So thanks so much, Chris, for being part of this specific time in my life where I was almost lost and didn't know what to do. And
Yeah.
here you were, and you were just mentoring me and talking about my daughter. I just told her before our podcast that I will have this chat with Chris, my former mentor, and he's in Chicago. Nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she will remember you. No, but really, thank you so much. I'm eternally grateful, and you're doing a great job. And also with the podcast and everything you're doing, I know it's a hard work. It's not
Oh,
always
man.
easy, but you're rocking it, Chris.
Thank
And
you.
and I
Thank you.
love, and that's still the thing. I mean, I look at you and you're always smiling. You have this positive energy out of you. I don't think that you're even in a bad mood. I don't know if
Mm-mm.
if
No,
things doesn't work out well, you're still smiling, I guess, and
yep,
saying,
yep.
that's how it is.
Yeah, you
That's
you have
awesome.
to roll with what hand you're given and just smile through it, because frowning, complaining, though
Yeah,
I have my moments, but overall it just doesn't serve us well. It doesn't.
exactly,
So,
exactly. Keep
I'm
keep
I'm a
up this
light so someone else
positivity.
can shine back on me, man.
Yeah, yeah. Keep the positivity, man.
Yes, yes, absolutely. All right, Matthias.
We appreciate it.
Again, thank you so much. Hey, listeners, remember all of the links that Matthias mentioned, they are in the show notes.
Yeah,
So right in your app, if you're on your phone, you could just click on the show notes link. It'll take you there. If you're on the website, if you're listening to this in front of your computer, just go right there. They're both linked. You could check out Matthias immediately. And again, Matthias, great job. Thank you so much. And I will see you online, my friend.
yeah. Thank you, and yeah, and for all the listeners, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out in any way
Yep. All right, great. Thanks,
to help.
Matthias.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Bye.